You want to know the truth. A woman doesn't begin to respect you when you give her everything. She begins to respect you when you reclaim everything. When you finally stop explaining, stop chasing, stop proving that you are enough. Because the moment she realizes your attention is no longer guaranteed, your silence speaks louder than any words you've ever offered. That's when she truly feels your absence, not just notices it. That's when her ego begins to crumble, because the man she thought she could control no longer responds to her influence. This isn't about games, it's about reclaiming your value. When a man fully detaches, he reintroduces a mystery she cannot decipher, and that mystery reignites her attraction. The same woman who once ignored your messages will start to wonder who you've become, what has changed, and why her name no longer carries the weight it once did in your life. That confusion lingers because, for the first time, you are unpredictable again. Understand this is not about winning her back, it's about reclaiming yourself. It's about becoming the man who commands respect without raising his voice. The man whose silence radiates strength, whose energy cannot be manipulated, and whose peace remains untouched. Pay attention. Once you grasp the psychology of detachment, you will never chase love the same way again. You will see that the real power never lay in making her stay, it was in showing her that you could walk away. Listen closely, because this is where most men lose themselves. You might think that being constantly available, endlessly understanding, or forgiving without limits makes a woman love and respect you more. It doesn't. It does the opposite. The more you give without boundaries, the less she values what you offer. The more you justify yourself, the less she listens. The more you make her your center, the more she takes you for granted. This isn't cruelty, it's human nature. People rarely appreciate what is always available. Detachment doesn't mean turning your back on love, it means reclaiming your power within it. Detachment doesn't signal indifference. It signals awareness. It means you finally understand the difference between love and self-betrayal. You stop confusing obsession with connection. You stop mistaking constant communication for emotional security. You realize the first relationship that needs fixing is the one you have with yourself. A woman will never respect a man who lacks control over his emotions. When she sees you are easily triggered, when your peace hinges on her reactions, she begins to question your strength. Deep down, every woman tests the foundation of a man's composure. She wants to know, can he lead himself, or will he crumble without her attention? If she senses weakness, even slightly, she unconsciously pulls back. She begins to create distance, not to hurt you, but to confirm her instincts. You've given her too much power. That's why detachment is essential. It's not ego, it's self-respect. When you stop reacting to her moods, stop seeking explanations for her silence, and stop begging for clarity, you become clarity. You become still. And that stillness speaks louder than any argument because nothing commands respect more than composure in chaos. There's a universal principle most overlook: what you chase flees, what you embody attracts. Detachment transforms you from chasing love into radiating strength. And that energy changes everything. You no longer need her to recognize your worth because you already know it. You stop convincing her that you are different because your silence proves it. You stop chasing closure because inner peace becomes the only closure you'll ever need. Reflect on this. The moment you stop fighting for her attention and start protecting your energy, something powerful emerges. Your absence begins to resonate. She senses the weight of your silence, not out of anger, but of elevation. It says, I have outgrown the version of myself that begged for love. That silence is magnetic, compelling, and undeniable. When she perceives that shift, she sees you differently. The man who once overexplained now walks away. The man who once feared loss now prioritizes peace over proximity. That's when she begins to respect you. Not because you played a game, but because you finally operate by the rules of self-worth. Respect arises from boundaries, not begging. It's earned through restraint, not desperation. A woman senses when a man has found himself again. It shows in how he speaks less, acts more, and moves with intention. It shows in how he is not always available, yet maintains grace. It shows in how he responds consciously, rather than reacts emotionally. That is the man she cannot manipulate. That is the man she respects, because he no longer seeks approval, he radiates it. Detachment is not punishment, it is purification. It removes the parts of you addicted to being needed. It dismantles the illusion that love is about clinging tightly. In truth, the tighter you hold, the faster things break. The more you release, the more what is meant for you returns naturally. That is maturity. That is real power. Detachment is not giving up, it is growing up. It teaches that love should never cost your dignity, peace is more valuable than validation, and respect outweighs affection. When you embody this truth, everything shifts. Your energy becomes calm, grounded, self-assured. You stop proving your worth and start attracting those who recognize it. The next time she tests you, pulls away, or goes silent, do not chase, panic, or explain, stand still. Because silence from a man who has mastered detachment is louder than 1,000 messages from a man who hasn't. Remember, a woman respects only what she fears losing. And she fears losing the man who does not fear losing her. Detach not to break the connection, but to rebuild your strength within it. The moment you truly detach, you stop being an option, you become the standard. When a man understands the psychology of emotional gravity, everything in his relationships changes. Attraction is not built through presence, but through absence. It is forged by energy that cannot be accessed too easily. Constant availability dissolves mystery. People are drawn not to what they understand, but to what challenges them. Emotional detachment restores that pull, not through manipulation, but by returning to your natural center. When a woman senses your emotional distance, she notices the shift. Her mind asks, what changed? That question forces her to reevaluate what she once took for granted. She remembers the care you used to give, the patience you once displayed, the energy you once invested. Now, you are calm, detached, and still, and that stillness shakes her more than any argument ever could. Women fall in love not merely with presence, but with the tension between closeness and distance. That dynamic fuels attraction. When you collapse boundaries, giving constant access, the dance ends. Attraction fades. Detachment restores it. It reintroduces polarity lost when you surrendered power to dependency. Emotional distance does not destroy connection, it strengthens it. When you pull back, she doesn't feel abandoned, she feels your strength. It signals that your emotions are not her playground, that you prioritize your mission first. Paradoxically, that is when she begins to pursue, not your body, not your attention, but your energy. A woman respects the man who cannot be controlled emotionally. Control in her mind equates to safety. If she can manipulate you, she withdraws investment. But when she sees your disciplined emotions, she feels safe and intrigued. Safe because strength is evident. Intrigued because outcomes are uncertain. That uncertainty fuels attraction. Pulling back emotionally isn't punishment, it's a declaration. Your value does not hinge on her recognition. You are not rejecting her, you are reclaiming your authority. You demonstrate that care is intentional, not compulsive. Your presence is choice, not habit. Emotional mastery makes your energy magnetic. Women are drawn not to chaos, but to controlled, focused energy. Not control that suppresses, but control that channels. The man who loves deeply without losing himself is rare. That rarity creates gravity. Notice, when you stop chasing, curiosity returns. Your energy shifts from, I need you, to, I am complete without you. This shift is energetic, not merely emotional. Attraction is vibration, not words. Calm, grounded energy communicates confidence silently. Silence with confidence outweighs all expressions of affection. She will test you, attempting to regain emotional leverage. But if you are truly detached, not out of ego, but emotional maturity, you do not flinch. You listen, without chasing. You care, without clinging. You love, without losing yourself. She respects you because she no longer controls your emotional state. That is the moment power resets. Let silence do what words never could. Let your absence convey your worth. Mastering emotional distance transforms pursuit into respect. Every man must internalize this. Emotional control is not suppression, it is mastery. The loudest message you send is through silence. She will not remember the man who begged. She will remember the man who remained calm, composed, and unshakable, the man who walked away with dignity intact. The man who didn't need to be chosen, because he had already chosen himself.